Welcome back, guys. This is the Little We Know podcast. I'm Johnny Marshall. With me, I got my co-host Will and JeCori. And also, we have a good guest today, Abdinoor Mohamed. Everybody say what's up to the crowd.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I am now going by Uncle Will. Uncle Will, Unc. I was Ill Will before. I've changed my name. Yes.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So, I guess we should just jump right into it. So, first off, obviously we know Will, we know JeCori, but Abdinoor, let's talk about you a little bit. I mean, where are you from? I mean, who are you? Like, just give me a little brief, overstill of yourself.
Who are you and where you're from? That's a tough question because, first off, my name is Abdinoor Mohamed. I am a resident in Boston. Currently, having a good time in Boston. Great work, great place. Where I'm from, originally from Somalia, but I've been living in the United States for over 18 years now. So just, the United States has become my home, but I've lived throughout different states. So I've lived in New York, I've lived in Massachusetts. I've also lived in Pennsylvania as well. So just to name a few places that I've lived in as well.
So you said Somalia.
You got to give us specifics. Give us some specifics, right?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
These states are pretty big. We want to know the hood. We want to know the city. Like, come on, man.
Got you. I got you. So, in New York, I was living in Syracuse. That's kind of like central state or some upstate, whatever you want to look at it. It's a cold place. It's a small town, not bad, but I lived there for about most of my life, pretty much. I grew up there. Went to high school out there as well. I also went to college out there as well. And then once I graduated from college, I moved to Philadelphia. Lived there for about 2 years. Philadelphia is definitely really different from other areas I've lived in. That place is kind of, tough. I feel like it builds you up. But overall, I've learned a lot of lessons out there. And then I'm new to Boston. I just moved here. It hasn't been a year yet. It's about to be a year soon in July, actually tomorrow. So other than that, these locations are amazing. Can't lie about that.
So with that being said, I didn't know this actually. So you guys have only known each other for less than a year then, because you haven't been here that long in Boston.
Exactly.
So You're telling me that, okay, so for everybody else's information, I met AB through Will, one day when I went down to visit. And I had no idea that they didn't know each other for longer than a year. Like, these guys in the same room are like brothers. It's kind of weird that, like, you guys are definitely like really tight. I mean, y'all acting like,
dude.
Nah, you guys were way too close. All right, there's probably something going on in the background that I don't know about. I'm just saying.
Hey, you know what? Here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? Boston is like mad racist, so like one of the top things that Abdinoor and I like bonded over was which we'll talk about a bit later, was our experience with police here. Because it's like, I don't know about for you, AB Abdinoor, but like when I moved here, I thought there's gonna be all these other black people, and and it's like I'm not gonna have to deal with like any racism or anything like that. And let me tell you what, it may not be very overt. We both had some pretty unique experiences with police where you're kind of like, oh, okay. It's not like that 100%. It's not like that all the time here in Boston. Like, would you agree? And you're like a year here in the city?
Honestly, to be honest with you, I don't like Boston police. The reason why I say that is they stopped me for no reason, right? Mind you, I did not commit no crime. I did not do anything like, illegal, anything like that. But I was just walking at nighttime and, I was wearing all black, everything. So it was breaking in around the area and they thought like, I was involved and they stopped me and started questioning me. As a person who knows their rights, I was able to kind of stand up for myself and kind of let them know that, I know my rights and you can't really mess with me for not really committing any crime. So I was able to kind of like defend myself and kind of let them know the issues and things like that. But for the most part, My experience with the Boston police is that they don't really know the law at all. Like they feel like they know the law, and they were telling me that I was wrong and I didn't know anything. But like for some reason, they're not trained or equipped to handle situations that when someone like speaks for themselves or able to voice their opinion, they're not aware of that, or they don't know how to handle that. So they feel like you're being aggressive, or you're being standoffish, or just kind of like they just don't like it. They're like, we're not used to someone like you. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, and I know we're diving into Johnny's like agenda, so I want to turn it back to him because I think he wants to kind of take a couple steps back, talk about your time in Somalia and Africa, and then yeah, I mean I think what you're saying is true, and maybe a little later on we can kind of expand a bit on that. You just talk experiences and such, but we also want to keep it light, you know, and flowing and fun. So like
Right, you're right.
It's real, but at the same time, there's so much more to you, dude. You're like an onion. So come on, like I know you got more to talk to us about. You're from Somalia, Africa. I don't even think either of us could even point that spot out on a map. So yeah, Johnny, we'll pass it back to you. Let's dig in.
Well, first off, he's got a point. I don't know very much about traveling. Traveling is one of the big things that I want to get into in my life, and it sounds like you are a very well traveled man. And it's not out of pleasure. It's from the sounds of it. It sounds like you just kind of the way that your family kind of moved. Some families get job opportunities and then they up and go from that. Now, was your experience moving all those different places? Was that due to like your family, or is that something that you were old enough to kind of do on your own and kind of prepared yourself for it? I mean, how did that work out?
That's a good question. So when I first flew out here, I came to the United States in 2006. That was my first time hopping on a plane and traveling. So I never really got to experience that. But ever since then, I was able to travel. So I started traveling like exclusively in 2015. That was like 2014, 2015, the beginning of my college experience. So I was able to, for my first trip, I went to Nigeria and Turkey. I was able to kind of like diverse myself into that area and kind of learn about different cultures and different um, religions and things that are happening in the area. But for the most part, I will say like these travel experiences were through opportunities that I made myself exposed to myself. So I was able to kind of like travel if, let's say, if there was a study abroad opportunity, or if someone offered these things. And for the most part, I didn't really have to pay a lot of money for these. I was able to travel for kind of like mostly free, or maybe less than 200 or 400, I would say. And traveling in Europe is kind of cheap, so I would definitely encourage everyone to travel if they can. Um, what I would say is, when I was doing a study abroad, I was in England. That's where I was stationed in. But as you know, you can easily travel within Europe. So I was able to travel to at least 7 countries while I was out there. Just to name a few, I went to Germany, Italy, and France, Netherlands, and England. Just those, just to name a few. Those are the places I've been to.
Well, we're
What
about
about
to
you
hit
guys?
up. Yeah, I mean we're about to hit up London and some at the end of the summer. But you make a good point though, in that you wouldn't travel to kind of like push yourself, right? And I think what people think when they think about Americans is, given the size of our country, if we go from say Boston to LA, I mean that would be like crisscrossing like a pretty big area in Europe, right? But it's all pretty homogeneous in terms of culture, even though really it's not. But there's kind of this this feel that like we don't tend to get out of our country enough, which I guess in some ways it's kind of hard to blame us. Like we live in a humongous country, but at the same time you have to be willing and able to travel, and it's something that I think is sometimes taken for granted as being a luxury. It's kind of hard to get out of this country, whereas you can hop on a train in London and be in Paris and back in the same day. Um, but at the same time, what we wanted to try to also accomplish on this podcast is talking about how can you get out of that comfort zone? How can you travel? Like how can you make it sound fun? How can you make it sound like it's something that you should push yourself to want to do? Because it's really easy to become a homebody, and I feel like America is either like on the two extremes of we go somewhere and we act a fool, and we ruin it for all the other Americans, or we're a bunch of homebodies, we're terrified of everyone, everyone's out to get us, everyone's evil, scary, and we just kind of stay in our own country. Um, so yeah, that's an interesting perspective, but it's one that I don't think is widely shared in terms of the opportunities for especially younger people in the United States. And yeah, that's right. J-Man, dead silent, which is rare for this guy.
Yeah, honestly, I would say like not a lot of Americans have the opportunity to travel at all. Like you think about it, like if you ask a lot of Americans, like have you traveled? Most of them will say no. I think that's because due to like not a lot of opportunities out there for them. But I feel like also people don't really look or they never really expose themselves to those kind of opportunities. So I feel like it all depends because like teaching and traveling kind of teaches different experiences based on your level. But one thing I'll say like I've learned is like, for example, like you'll be on your phone, right? You need service. But most of the time you might not have service at all. So what do you do in those situations? Like for me, I would like screenshot or take pictures of the place I'm going so that I know how to get back and I know how to get there as well, just in case I lose. But for the most part, don't be scared to also ask people for directions. Don't be scared to talk to people and like get to know people. So you might meet a friend or you might get to know somebody. I don't know if you ever guys had that experience at all.
Personally, I think right there the problem with, I mean, yeah, that's the common sense thing. I mean, you go into workplaces and schools and all those different things, and everybody's go-to thing is, like if you don't know something, ask. Like, and that's the smart thing to do. It's very, very hard to kind of go up nowadays to people, though. I mean, everybody nowadays, I mean, just with the way that the technology is and the advancements and stuff, like, I mean, it's so super duper. Hey, man, you better chill out over there, all right? I'm in here trying to make a podcast. You're out here stunting all your buffoonery. All right. No,
My
but
man's
like,
got the light trip on him.
Sorry about that.
But do you guys get what I'm saying, though? Like, there's just so much technology nowadays. And it's like, oh, one dude did this. And it gets so public and worldwide so fast that people, I mean, nowadays it's like one small thing goes wrong and it's 2 miles long. You know what I mean? Everybody is very, very dramatic and oversizes everything. So, like, yeah, I mean, it's a smart thing to do. But, like, it's also very, very hard to kind of ask those questions because the way the world is now and the way that everybody speaks. So like I mean, this podcast is made to like inform people on how to do things and, learn something, even if it's something small, like figuring out directions. I think that taking pictures is a great idea. I mean, you could even go as far as writing, street names in your notes and then, backtracking, you know what I mean? Right at that billboard or something.
Exactly. And I think it was whatever works for you guys, like whatever works for you, you're definitely able to do that. But for the most part, you might not have those access. So like you said, I think it's great to take notes and, write down where you're going just in case your phone dies or things like that. So that's a great point to bring it up as well.
Okay, so question for you, Will. I know this is about AB, but heck with you right now. Anyways, Will, so I mean, you're a parent. You have a daughter, my little stunner for Vegas right here. Anyways, but as a parent, I mean, what is there things that you could do? I mean, like the people that are going to listen to this podcast and even us or JeCori, I mean, even AB, like if we have kids one day, I mean, what would be a good way to kind of adapt or adjust to that, like force our children or something to work on that? I mean, work on just getting out of the technological world. Or even,
well, let me tell you. Say hi. Look, there's your cousin.
Hi, Nada.
Hey, Nada.
Even though she's 3 now, I would say that it's
her nose on the camera, but we're not going to say nothing about that.
Come on now. It's a new hobby.
Hold on, man. First off, I don't think I want to hear you.
There you go. She loves her iPad. But I think aside from that though, like technology as with anything can be like a good or bad. It really depends on how you utilize it. But I think the biggest thing I've been taking away from my friendships with folks like Abdinoor is just meeting people from different cultures. Like the thing about him and I, like it's been so cool is I feel like you and I, we have a lot in common, even though we aren't really. We could not have a lot in common, but we do have so much. And it's like you grew up in Africa, you grew up in Syracuse, you immigrated to this country. I've been here my entire life, and yet it's like that doesn't make.
Oh, don't lie to him. We all know that you came from like Ireland or some goofy shit. Bro. You're a fraud, all right? Cut that out. Don't lie to the people.
But it's cool because I think often we think that we would struggle to connect with someone who's so much different than us, and I think just kind of removing the barriers, and you can only do that through exposure, right? And so I think what's interesting about folks who come from other countries is they'll say like, oh yeah, it's like it's natural for us to travel to other countries and other cultures. Like, what do you mean you don't travel? And like having that exposure already, and then having for Americans sometimes we don't really have the opportunity. It's not necessarily a desire. I think it's really just an opportunity thing. We have so much, so many barriers around like socioeconomics, and we got areas that are fairly desolate, and you're just kind of there. That's all you grow up to know. It's hard to really think about
exposure. Yeah. You're right, definitely right on that.
Right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. I forget who I'm talking to sometimes. I'm used to being surrounded by intellects and people who went to this one school and came.
Oh, here we go.
But Will, what is going? Say? Go ahead.
Where is dude? Like, no, JeCori.
No, I'm here. I was just waiting. I'm not trying to cut nobody off.
Dude, you just come in. Come on, you are like that's your role. That's
all right. I got a draft. I got a draft for us today.
Boy, already getting into the draft.
Oh, we're already getting into the draft.
I had to get into the draft.
Hey, you know what though? Good segue, right? Because we would have sat here and turned this into like an Oprah Winfrey show or Montel Williams.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I had to stop you guys. I had to stop you guys because we don't have that much money to give away. We're not Oprah.
That's you get us.
I need some money.
For in honor of Abdinoor being here, we're gonna do top 5 people, like all-time people that aren't from this country.
Oh.
That's kind of interesting because I don't know if I can come up with anybody.
The top 5
and it can be like the nicest people, the coolest people, people that give away the most money to charity. It can be anything, just like the best people that aren't from America of all time.
Wait, of all time, right? So they'd be dead.
They can be dead.
Oh.
Yes, they can be dead. We're not going to butter it up this time, all right, guys?
All right, hold up. But I came up with the topic, so I feel like I should go first.
Okay?
I agree.
Hey, can we put a disclaimer here, just real quick? Hey, in the comments, okay, when you start commenting on our videos, look, don't come on here being like, well, did you know that so-and-so was a wife beater and you're sitting here telling them that they're so great on the show? We can't know everything about everybody. But if there are some mishaps, go on and let us know in the comments, all right? We're going to do our best here, all right?
Yes, I agree.
We're going to do our best. All right, J-Man, let's hear your top 5.
Hold on, another disclaimer.
Top
I
five.
have no idea who is from out of this country that is like a wonderful person.
Right.
So I'm going straight to Google. Like, I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I'm like, right now, top people in the world not from America. Like, that's what I'm talking
All right. At number one, I'm gonna get first pick. Let me go Gandhi.
Okay, see, I knew Gandhi was coming. Gandhi, okay, good one. See, I feel like Gandhi's probably got some skeletons in his closet. No pun intended, but I bet you someone's gonna come at us about that one. All right, I'm gonna go next.
All right.
Well, how can you hate Gandhi? Didn't the guy walk the world barefooted just to prove a point?
She did. You shut the door. I'm sorry, everyone. This is the domestic interference. Nelson Mandela, the dude was in prison for like ever. He had to try to overthrow apartheid in South Africa. Like he's literally like Africa's MLK. Nelson Mandela.
Wait, who? Yes,
Nelson Mandela.
I agree.
All right. Who has the second pick? I'm not trying to dilly dag or anything, but who's going second?
First
I already
off,
went
Will
second. So you
I
mean
don't know
third?
where you went.
Who'd you pick?
Nelson Mandela, my lord.
Who?
You better be careful, dog.
South African president. He fought in apartheid. During apartheid.
He was locked up for what, like 2 decades or something before he got
20
out?
years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nobel Peace Prize.
Great guy. Revolutionary.
Amazing man.
All right, so who is the third pick?
I would say Zaha Hadid. She's an architect, Iraqi British architect. She has amazing work. She's developed some really great designs. You might not notice her work, but she has. If you search her name up, her name is D-A-M-A. Sorry, actually, let me search it up again. It's D-A-M-E-Z-A-H-A, and then Hadid.
I feel like we should make a group chat with these guys, and you should type that in because I tried to follow, and I definitely failed. I'm not gonna lie to you. So
Yes.
She's got some pretty cool postmodern art looking buildings.
I'll say
see, this is what we're talking about. The little we know. Good pick. All right, number 4.
And she's a woman, she's a woman, so.
Oh yeah, I've got
people of color
for my next one.
All right, Johnny, did you pick yet?
Okay, I did pick. So I'm gonna pick Isaac Newton. All right. I mean, it seems kind of cliche because he was a scientist, but he's a British mathematician and scientist. But I feel like the only reason I said him is one, because I looked up a list and I seen his name. But like, he had a lot of laws of motion. I mean, they were very like serious things. Like a lot of his laws kind of lead the way that we engineer vehicles and everything nowadays. I mean, his like laws of motion could like help us make flying cars one day. All right, I'm just saying he's kind of the GOAT.
All right,
we've already got our first pick.
For my second pick, just give me Nicki Minaj.
What?
Why you say her?
Was she from Jamaica or Barbados? From the islands, right?
Barbados.
What made you pick her? What's your reasoning?
She got a fat butt.
That's your reasoning?
Yeah. See, here's JeCori's issue is if you tell him to explain his position, it all just fall. It's a foundation of sand here. But that's why we love.
What do you want me to say? I'm 12. She has great lyrical music. No.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, but I don't want to lie to the viewer like that.
No, you're not.
Also,
we're not asking why.
JeCori, well, why did you say like top 5, but not from America? It's making it tough, man. What made you decide on that?
You're gonna learn something today, JeCori, whether you want to or not.
To be honest, I was thinking, and I was like, I don't even know. So I'm gonna just say something random, and that's honestly what came out of my mouth. So that's what we're doing now.
Heard you. Say less.
All right.
Honestly,
we're doing this in no particular order, right? Because it's like we're not ranking these people, right? We're just naming top 5. Cool. Sorry, Ab.
There you go, Will.
Yeah, I'm going with Neda Agan Sultan. That is who? The woman that Neda is named after. She was killed during the Arab Spring in a protest in Iran. She was shot and killed. It was on live TV on Al Jazeera. I watched it. It was in 2009 or 10, and I remember seeing her get shot in the chest, and her dad was there just holding her while she like bled out. Her eyes were open, and she was an activist. She was a protester. She really fought for like women's rights, and she was killed during a protest. And so I always wanted to, if I was like able to have a daughter, that I would name her after someone I thought was like influential and important, and that's who I named her after. And she has a documentary called For Neda on HBO. It's really good if you want to learn about her life.
Thank you. Definitely look towards that.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like we should all write these down and share them with each other. Even if it's after the podcast, kind of just go read a little bit of something about each person if you don't already know.
Well, yeah, the little we know. That's the whole.
I mean, we can stay after the video and even just share a little more in depth.
For sure. Abdinoor, it's on you.
My next is my turn. Okay. Do you guys know the Kenyan president Jomo Kenyatta?
No.
No?
Absolutely
Okay.
not.
All right. He was.
Yeah, no, I'm 12.
All right, so Jomo Kenyatta was a Kenyan anti-colonial activist and a politician who governed Kenya as the prime minister from 1963, I think, over to his death, pretty much, until he got assassinated. So pretty much at that time, as you guys know, Africa was pretty much colonized. You know, there's a lot of things going on in the area, and he wanted to, you know, make sure that his country and his people you know, were heard and his voices were heard, and like, you know, he wanted to fight for his country and make sure that, you know, he gets that independence from that British colonial period. So this guy really fought for his country and made like Kenya the way it is right now.
Well, damn.
Sir.
You have very meaningful people. You're not even saying like people that like. I mean, dude named Nicki Minaj, all right? She's done nothing but revolutionize what an anaconda is, all right? I mean, you're actually like speaking real nice facts and stuff like that. JeCori, you're gonna have to pick up your end, all right? You are losing tug of war at the moment. All right, but now for a builded pick, all right? This is gonna really set everybody off into a fur. Alexander Graham Bell. He invented the telephone. That's the way the world is now. He revolutionized it. All right. He made stuff happen. He got the ball rolling. He kicked that bitch. All right.
I'm almost certain someone's gonna comment and say, well, did you know Alexander Graham Bell actually stole his idea from some other dude? Kind of like, you know, the Christopher Columbus and Amerigo Vespucci. So
small dude. He's got the name for it. He's fine.
Yeah, viewers, go ahead and watch the first podcast where this man simped for Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, and you'll understand why he holds that position.
And that's what we're doing. We're going to use my past against me, Will. This podcast is about moving forward and informing ourselves. We don't got to remember the past, all right?
No, I am informing folks, because if you don't learn from history, you are doomed to repeat the same mistakes.
I agree.
You got to stop. You got to stop simping for
next pick. Speaking of that, for my next. Okay, go ahead, Johnny.
Go ahead, J-Man. No, he's got nothing to say.
All right. Anyway. Speaking of. Okay, that was gay. Don't do that again. All right. Speaking of moving on, I'm gonna take someone that I picked last draft. Y'all might remember him. He's from Germany.
Dude's gonna say like Hitler or some shit.
Yeah, and he's not from Germany. He's from Austria. So let's just see him stick his foot in his mouth.
Wait, Malachi, you're from Austria, bro? All right, never mind. All right, give me Keanu Reeves.
Was he from Canada or something?
Yeah, he's from Canada.
Oh, he's lucky. He's a straight up assassin. I'd go over there and show him the business from all this damn air quality he's putting in here. Dude, he had me knocked out on my booty cheeks the other day from that.
Right, we didn't even get to talk about what Canada's doing. This is like payback for being a little brother or something. I don't know. Okay, I mean, that's a light L take. That was like I got backed into a corner, so I need to save something cool. But I can't believe you was trying to pull an Austrian. I can't believe that. Oh, let me think. I don't really have anyone right now because I want to say something.
I got one.
Yeah, go ahead, Ab.
All right, guys. Do you guys know the Rwandan president, Paul Kagame? All right, so Paul Kagame has been the president for Rwanda for a long time, but this guy has really transformed Rwanda into the country it is right now. So Kigali, Rwanda is the cleanest city in Rwanda. He's transformed that city to make sure that, you know, it has the technology, it has the infrastructure, like such as roads and things like that, high-speed Wi-Fi's, trains and things like that. So this country is really developed. The country is in Africa. It's a small country. It's in the eastern part of Africa. So if you guys ever have the chance, I definitely encourage you to all visit Kigali whenever you get a chance. Fun fact.
All right,
You were talking to people that don't even have passports or haven't even been to Canada yet. I just want to lay the foundation for you on who you're talking to on this podcast right now, because real talk, I'm the only one who's like really a global citizen, and I'm just trying to help the rest of these dudes out right now.
Will, I hear you.
I'm 20, bro. I just learned how to tie my shoes. What do you want from me?
Guys, speaking of traveling, right?
I forget how much older I am than the rest of the world.
What would you say? What are some things or challenges you've dealt with traveling? It could be, anything from the airport, anything to, like anything. Like, what are some experiences that you guys have seen? I know you guys have traveled from Boston to Ohio recently, and I just want to, just check the experience. What was that like?
Honestly, it was very odd for me because I've never been at an airport. I've been to an airport one time before I started traveling out to see, Will and you. But it was the big thing that I noticed is just like how serious and like uptight people are. Like people are very rude. Like I went into the airport for like security and stuff. What is it? TSA? Is that what they called? Okay, so like yeah, the TSA guys, like, I mean, I understand they got a job and they deal with a lot of stupid stuff, but like I don't know an airport like the back of my hand. Like I don't go there enough. I mean, I'm a homebody, I would say. But I mean, I get in there and it's like I got yelled at to take my hoodie off. I'm sorry, I didn't know there wasn't a sign. And then it was take your shoes off. Well, okay, that's fine, but why are you yelling at me? It was just very, very rude. And I understand that later at night, so people are probably tired and groggy and stuff. But I mean, you signed up for that shift. I'm sure if you really wanted to get out of that, you could do something different. So I mean, yeah, the experience was fine. Like I made it through. Like I didn't fight nobody. I mean, nobody got arrested, nothing like that. But overall, it was just kind of annoying in the sense that the people were not the greatest. I don't want to disqualify like everybody from TSA because I'm sure there's great people there that love their job and are happy with what they do. But like just my experience here recently, it was just like, blah, it was just very, very awkward.
I hear you.
Informative about it. I feel like if they informed more people, when they walked in the door, had more people greeting people, ready to answer questions at the door for me. I mean, I walked in, I seen about 6,000 people, and I'm like, all right, who should I ask for questions? And there's nobody around until you get up to the front desk. But then you got to wait in an hour-long line. Then you got to go talk to somebody. And then they're going to send you to another long line that's more than what you just sat in. And now you're late for your flight. I feel like they could pick it up, all right? They could pick up the slack. It ain't that heavy. I'm only 230.
All right, so whose pick is it?
This guy, dude.
Did you have the audio off the whole time?
What?
No, I'll come back to that.
No, like what Johnny was just saying. What Johnny was just saying, because I'm 12, it was like irrelevant to me, so I was just not listening. So whose pick is it?
Yeah, don't worry about him, AB. He's always like this. I promise. We're working on it. All right. He's got the intellect or something.
But Johnny, I think you brought up some great points. One thing I'll say is like there's no guide to traveling, right? So like you're expecting TSA to kind of tell you kind of like what are the steps, right? But TSA was being aggressive, and pretty much expect you to know the routine of like traveling, right? Such as like taking your shoes off. You never knew that you had to take your shoes off, but that's things you learn as you're traveling. Sometimes I understand that part of their job is make sure that the country is safe and security is top notch. But at the same time, like you don't have to be an asshole or be aggressive to someone who is this their first time traveling or this their first experience, and to that like it will make it hard for them to like they don't want to travel again because the experience wasn't welcoming or it wasn't pleasant at all. And day to day, honestly, I deal with that all the time. Like as a Muslim and as a Black person, I get stopped all the time, just for traveling. I get questions, like I get asked a lot of questions, just like where you're from, where you're coming from, are you carrying anything over 10K? What were you doing in that country? And then I always get like searches as well, extra searches. Mind you, I've already been through airport security, but at the same time, it's like they don't really care. They just want to make sure like they search you and they want to make sure like you're good.
So now when you say that you get searched and questioned and stopped all the time, I mean, is that like everywhere you go? I mean, is that like when you're walking down the streets? Because I'm sure you probably don't drive very much in Boston. It's just so compact. I mean, it's kind of pointless. But like, I mean, is that when you're on a train? Is that when you're on a bike? Is it, or like subway. I mean, how does that, is that everywhere? Or is that just like TSA, airport, or certain countries? Like, are certain places better than others? I mean, how is that go on?
Honestly, it's mostly international flights that I get searched or stopped. So like for example, I was traveling to the United States from Ecuador, right?
Where's
So Ecuador is in South America. It's down south, right next to I believe Chile. I could be wrong, but it's in South Africa for sure. So while I was there, they were like, they called my name. They were like, come to this gate, and they pretty much said, like, why are you traveling? Where are you coming from? What's going on? Lots of questions, and they searched my bags. I've already been through security, but they searched my bags. And then one thing I noticed that was kind of weird was that they made me board the flight first. Like once I went through security, I was separated from like groups I was traveling with, and they were like, "You need to board the flight first." I don't know why they made me do that, but I thought that was kind of weird. And ever since then, I'll be like, you know what? I will deal with this all the time. So right now, it's kind of like routine. I'm used to it, but I don't want to get searched all the time. I don't want to get stopped, all because 9/11 and things like that. Like security. That's their thing. And they always say you have been randomly selected, and that's not the case at all. Because and I asked them, why do you guys select me? Like, why do you guys randomly select me all the time? You know what they said? It's because of your last name. And it's weird.
So they're not very random.
It's not
very random then.
No.
So do you think like it'd be the same if, say, you had an American name? I like your name. I think it's cool and I think it's unique. But like, what if your name was like Chad or something? You know what I mean? Like Chad Smith.
Honestly,
do you think you would get flagged as much, being the color and religion that you are?
Nah, if my name was Chad Smith and I was white, I would not get stopped at all. They would let me go through the flight, anything. I won't get stopped. But because I have my last name is, they think it's a terrorist name, or they think, they're scared and things like that, I get stopped for those reasons. But at the same time, if my name was different, or if my skin color or tone was different, I would never get stopped, or none of these would happen to me at all. Just like how we talk about, names such as, when you're applying for jobs and things like that. Like, if your name does not sound the way they want it to sound, you'll definitely, get rejected or don't even come through. So,
have you ever thought about kind of adjusting your lifestyle? Because it sounds like a very sore subject. I mean, I'm sure it just kind of sucks. I mean, it's all the time, and it's the way that your life is. It's not like you did anything wrong. Have you ever thought to, like change your name, or, even dress differently or something like that to kind of fit in, to help yourself out? Or have you just kind of set your own path and just kind of went for your own justice in a way?
They got to get used to that. I feel like people are not exposed to these things, so they definitely got to get used to that. I will never change myself to fit in, or make myself like adjust to someone or a culture that I don't really feel part of, or I don't really feel like I need to do that. I feel like you should be yourself, and you shouldn't really be judged for the things that happen. So also, we don't have to talk about the subject. We can also move on as well. It's up to you guys.
Nah, man, you're the guest. I mean, I think this is something that I wanted to learn about because, I mean, I don't want to say it like this, but being a white man, like, I don't have those issues, and I have a very white name. My name is John. Like, when you don't know who somebody is, they're considered John Doe. Like, I have a very basic name. My name is Jonathan. So I don't get flagged for names. I mean, my last name is a superstore. So I don't have those issues. And that you're saying this, next time I go to an airport, I feel like I'm gonna stop a minute and take my headphones out or something and just kind of look around to see if like I can notice it. You know what I mean? And honestly, I don't want to say something because I feel like it's not right. These people don't know anybody. And no offense, but like you look like a cleaned up, classy guy. The dude's got a ball cap he's got a beanie on in a building. All right. Only a rich, classy dude gonna do something like that. Bro, y'all got AC, not polar vortexes inside, all right? I mean, so that's kind of like eye-opening. I feel like a lot of people that are gonna listen to this, and even like Will and stuff, like JeCori, like I feel like you guys should probably sit back and like acknowledge it. Will, you probably get it, but JeCori, you white as they come, bro. You're like a tub of sour cream white with me. So like,
no, I've never experienced anything like that.
I'm way darker than you. I'm way darker than you.
Oh, here we go. Your opinion's irrelevant. But do you know what I mean? Like,
so why'd you ask? What?
I didn't ask anything. Go mute yourself. All right, go back to Candyland. Gosh.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think it's a pretty unique thing, especially post 9/11 society. Because it's like, and I guess I can understand it.
Oh, not my koozie.
Where that there were like some kids who were from Iran in my school, and before 9/11, they were just the new kids that we grew up with, and then after 9/11, they were like Muslim kids from Iran. Is how people talked. So, I mean, I was younger. Well, I mean, I was in high school when that happened, but still young enough to where it went from not mattering at all to all of a sudden mattering, and then by sophomore year, like those kids were gone. Like it had gotten so bad that they moved to Dearborn, Michigan, where there's a large, population of people like them, and I inherently, I think even at that age, even in high school, when you kind of like should know right and wrong, am I supposed to be afraid of people who like are Muslim or from like the Middle East? Because like, that was my first exposure, and I think that we as a country have kind of gotten locked into that mentality, and it just like has not gone away. And we're 22 years later. And people can change, but it seems as if the sentiment around not only being black but then being Muslim is like a double whammy in this country that like probably is going to take lifetimes for us to move past. But yeah, it's something. It's funny. It's like it's not really funny. I guess maybe it's like not even funny at all. But like it's just something I never thought about until 9/11. Like those kids, who cared where they were from? Who cared about them being Muslim? Like it didn't matter to us. And then all of a sudden it did. So yeah, I mean,
yeah, even like just being black and Muslim, it's like Will said, it really is a double whammy. I'm not super black. I'm probably like the lightest of light skin you could possibly get.
No, that's Johnny.
It, like
yeah.
yeah, well, not. I'm a little tin in the Johnny, but even just growing up with black people like my dad, like we've been stopped so many times for stuff like we haven't even done, and it's like I've heard people scream racist slurs. I've seen about everything. I've seen my dad knock people out. Like there's just so many things that I've experienced just being with people just from one side of my family that's just dark.
And then we get affirmative action thrown on top of it, the affirmative action change, right? Of all things that could be implemented to support like the leveling of the playing field, that's a relatively like newer change. And so we've just had the Supreme Court repeal it, and I think it's challenging because we're just talking about things that have given folks a license to behave in ways that like maybe we on this call like don't agree with, but just the simple fact that something like that gets repealed, which again I understand that like particular popular group a lot, and that's not right. But this is essentially the whole two wrongs make a right with the Supreme Court ruling, where it was like, oh, you're marginalizing this group, and this group is very vocal, and they shouldn't be marginalized. So you know what? We're just gonna strip it for everyone when it's like not even factoring in conditionality, right? So I want to try to bring this together, and I knew I said I wasn't gonna talk much this cast, but I'm here to help connect all the dots, right? And so I think I'm hearing in summary, Johnny discussed, your presence, the way you look on the outside, like doesn't necessitate any sense of harm or danger or fear. Like, you're just a regular educated guy who works in a large building in downtown Boston. Like most people coming in and out of the building are like, thought of as like important and have worked their way up or have built something that is commendable and would typically be looked at as othered in a good way, of like someone who's doing something good or something positive, right? Who's made it, right? But then at the same time, though, it then strips away the fact that what we don't know about you is that you had to immigrate from this country. You're coming from Africa. You've lived in a bunch of different places. You're not native to this land, but you are. But this is your home now, right? And it's just interesting that just a simple ruling like that can just kind of strip away all the connotation that comes with being a person of color in this country, and that it's not just about like being a person of color, but it's also about like what are all the other things that you've had to experience that JeCori just mentioned. It's like, it's about being people of color, but then still having to go through these experiences of being marginalized and being victimized and not having access to a lot of means, and now having a playing field for getting into higher education also being reduced because one marginalized group didn't like it and it didn't benefit them in the way that it maybe should have, and so none of us get to benefit from it. And yet the ones who it was supporting already had it pretty bad when it came to like getting into colleges and stuff, and so now they could face the future of having it worse. So yeah, I mean, it's like all things are just kind of really related in terms of this topic around identity, race, all these intersections. But you can't judge a book by its cover, And with your TSA experience, it's only the cover that they really seem to care about. And it seems as if we're just kind of in a state in this country where like all we really care about is making the snap judgments based on the cover,
right. Yeah, based on the cover, also the name as well. Like, they might not see who I am, but for the most part, like they see a picture and they see a name and they're like, oh, this person we gotta be, look for. We gotta make sure like this person is, serious story. Gotta make sure this person stopped.
Right.
Reasons, they have their own reasons, but at the same time, it's like, these things we're tired of, We don't want to be, stopped all the time. We don't want to go through all these different ideologies or different things that we go through, but at the same time, it's like, what can we really do? I mean, the world is growing, the world is changing all the time, but at the same time, it's like why we keep dealing with this? We've been dealing with this for a long time. So,
right.
I hear you though.
And I got a question. So, whose pick is it?
Okay, back to the real topic at hand. I don't know why they're judging a book by their cover anyways, because all right, when they stop AB, they don't realize that they're in the presence of a world record holder. All right, put some respect on his name.
Oh, that's right.
Hold on, put some respect on this world record, this hard world record that probably hurt so bad afterwards.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, dude was probably crying for some sleep and some water after.
All right, for those of you who don't know, I'm a Guinness World Record holder. I scooted for 24 hours. And we broke the record. We set the record for 1630 actually, 1630 miles. That's from like here to Minnesota, or so that we covered a lot of distance in 24 hours, and it was the team of 25. So if you just search
reference, that's like a 2-hour drive.
So
Boston to Minnesota
it's not 2 hours. It's more than 12. It's like 12 hours or something.
So I do want to clarify. By he means scooted. He didn't sit on his butt and like hop across the world. All right. He was on a scooter, like a push scooter, like a razor scooter, that like a sporting razor scooter. All right. Just so we're clarifying here, because I thought he just sat on his butt and just started like hopping around.
Nah, it's those kick scooters. Those kick scooters where you have to kick with your feet? Those are the ones, yeah.
Can we screen share and pull up a picture actually?
Yeah, actually the thing is called, or if you search it up in Guinness World Record, if you search the topic called the greatest distance on a kick scooter / push scooter in 24 hours, you should be able to find my record.
Okay, well, I don't want to admit this, but I don't know how to set it to where other people can screen share, so I guess I will.
Well, that was kind of what I was getting at, because I don't know how to do it. Now you got me like I don't know what I'm doing. Will, what?
I know how to do it. I got
how
you
to do it. Didn't you go to Harvard?
Yeah.
One second.
Where that Harvard part at now,
Big H hat on for nothing, for real.
Yeah, Duke really came in here flexing like he was something serious. This dude
Yeah. Bro has a cheetah print main shirt. Oh, turn the camera on. That's what I thought, Will.
Guys, you see my screen?
We do now.
All right, this is the event right here. If you search greatest distance on a kick scooter, there's my team. That's me right there. And that's the distance we covered right here. So, and it was done this date. So, great time, great event, and we had a great time. So,
wait, where'd you guys do it at? Like where?
Forum, Maine, right here. It was like in a gym. It was in a track, like a college facility.
I went to Maine.
You went to
Why
Maine?
are you flexing a Maine shirt, Will? You haven't went there since 09.
No, I've been.
Can you guys see my screen now? Or no, right?
No, you're good, man.
You're good.
We're not going to look into any of the weird stuff that you be doing at the office, man.
That's why you got the
listen,
background
If
up.
you're looking at like naked giraffes, like licking each other's butts or something, I mean, that's
okay. Hey.
This is the monitor,
It's
right?
available for children. Okay.
Our work is monitored. Okay?
Will.
Yeah, I don't know what he's got going on.
Nah, someone's
Just
watching.
text me that link though about the giraffes later.
Hey, no, Will, you do got some weird stuff in your
Stop,
office,
go back.
but you had a trap phone in your office. I was trying to figure out like what you was doing.
I got
was
two
like,
phones.
Never say that again, bro. You're getting canceled. No.
It was my pick, and
I want okay, bro. You're
Key
what?
of Malaysia.
Bro, can't pronounce it.
Was a here. Let me share. This woman's a G. Now I knew about her before I looked her up on LinkedIn, but not LinkedIn. Yeah, LinkedIn. Come on. Oh, I keep screwing up because I'm on like multiple computers here. I'm not going to share anything. Okay. She so you guys remember that coup in Myanmar, right? Like a couple years ago, where the military just kind of took over the government and started imprisoning people. Anyhow, this woman's a Nobel laureate winner. She's already been arrested a couple times through different coups, and most recently with this current military coup in Burma, she's been sentenced to like 26 years in prison. I mean, it's essentially kind of like the same situation as like with Nelson Mandela, somewhat, but just she's a political prisoner, and she's been fighting for her country for a while now, but because of the most recent coup, and she was in a high level political position, she's been placed back in prison again, and she's still there.
Oh, very interesting. Oh, thank you for that. I never knew about that. That's it. No.
Hey, so J-Man, do you have like another cool poll? Because as much as I love this poll. Hey, can I do a poll that's like a little more lighthearted?
I mean, it's kind of my thing, but I guess. But
can you do another poll for me then?
Just gonna interrupt for me like that, right?
I am because you were gonna go on a soliloquy about like it being your thing, and we all understand.
You just talked to me about a whole paragraph of something that I don't even care about.
Well,
you don't even know how to make. You don't even know how to make someone else screen share. Will,
that's not the take we need to have. Hey, kick off this one. Best women's R&B, and they have to be ranked.
Hold up, I wasn't done with my last pick yet in the last draft. So give me Yao Ming. 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 Ni hao.
I'm sorry.
Can I bring an apostrophe?
Yeah.
Next time we do a draft, we're doing 3 picks because 5 picks.
5 picks is too much.
Is
You're right.
like trying to solve world hunger. All right. AB's over here about to fall asleep listening to you two argue like little women.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I asked dude to like move it along. He wanted to argue with me, but fair enough. You're the host.
Move it along.
You call the shot.
Stayed on the same subject.
I wouldn't say I'm the host.
Minutes.
No, you're the host.
Yeah,
that's your designated role. Is host.
Yeah.
JB is the funny man. I'm the smart guy.
You're like a producer, Will. You're more of a producer, and you make sure that we keep it PG and in a line.
Yeah, that's all I'm here for.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear my voice, so go ahead.
Okay. Definitely want to hear your wise words of wisdom from the great Harvard University. All right.
I mean, they're not really wise, but all right.
Okay.
Okay. You know what? I was trying to be nice, man.
Your question was top 3 R&B.
Yeah, you know what? I can't rank mine, so we're not going to go at rank. And JeCori was supposed to be off, and he got in his feelings. So
how did I get in my feelings? How did I get in my feelings, and you're still talking about it?
Hey, Ab, what you got for us?
I'll say Rihanna, top 1 for me. I don't really know a lot of R&B.
Okay, I'm gonna let it pass. I'm gonna let it pass, but it's supposed to be a group. But if you're not familiar with R&B groups, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm gonna pass on this one then. Wait, it's the Jackson 5. Are they R&B?
Women.
But they're not
okay. Wow. We are striking out. This might be too specialized because I've got like women's groups for days. You know.
No, yeah, it definitely is specialized.
Okay. Then here's what we're gonna do. J-Man, hit us with a top 3, dog. You had some fire ones last time.
I know we all listen to music. I know we all listen to rap. Top 3 artists of all time.
No, female R&B artists. Come on now. Stick with the games, dude.
Here's the thing. I don't want people sounding ill-informed because we're not teaching anyone anything if people can't name at least 9 to 12 R&B female groups. I don't.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I don't know one.
See, there we go. Too specialized.
Beyonce. Would you consider?
You're naming single artists. You gotta say,
bro. It doesn't have. It's an R&B female artist. What are you talking about?
That's not it at all. Check the notes. It says women's R&B groups, not single. Not solo artists.
Well, I'm gonna be honest.
Ladies ain't good enough for you. Is that what we saying?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. This was an L topic, and you kind of dug yourself in this own hole right here. So I'm gonna let you dig out of it too, brother.
And personally, I wouldn't let him talk to me like that, Will. I'm just being for real.
Well, I mean, he's not lying. I mean, I dug a hole with the wrong shovel, which was you all. Y'all aren't helping what matters.
Did you just call me a shovel?
J-Man. We need a fire top 3 to try to bring us home. All right.
I'm gonna give y'all a fire top 3 right now. All right, top 3 video games of all time.
Jesus Christ, we're gonna end up fighting on this one.
Yeah, let's do something else.
I said rappers.
No, we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. Let's do it.
Will, you do not want to fight. Will, hold on. 5'10" and like 300 pounds.
Top 3 gaming systems of all time.
Okay.
I feel like that's way easier, and then we can get into the games a different week. Also, we're gonna have to like write the drafts down so we can at least get like our list, started. We'll get like 2 backups each because this is ridiculous. We're taking 20 minutes to figure out who an R&B artist band is.
Okay, but we're gonna go to this, right? But real talk though, it's on the list already. I talked to you all at pre-production meeting about this.
Oh, I know.
We had a meeting?
Well, yeah, you didn't show up. Oh. This is why I'm the host. Because I show up and put the time in.
All right. Johnny, you start. I don't even know where to go with J-Man anymore at this point.
I'm going to have to say the Xbox. All right. So I'm just going to give my...
they cancel you.
Xbox, the Wii,
chat cancel them.
And the PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2, the Xbox 360, and the Wii. Dems is my 3. Not in that particular order, but Dems is the 3.
LP.
What are you talking about, JeCori?
JeCori, go ahead.
All right, you got to go to Nintendo 64, PS4, and what's the last one? Who do I want to go with here? You got to go with the OG. You got to go with the Wii.
So you took 2 out of my picks, and you said I had an L pick. Get the heck out of here, dude.
What did I take? 2 of your picks?
The Wii.
That's 1. You said that.
Wait, you said Nintendo 64, PS4, and Wii. That's what you said?
Yes.
No, I only have top 2.
I'm splitting hairs here.
Will, you don't have any hairs to do that. I don't know. What.
AB, what are yours, man?
Listen,
Bring some love to this table, please.
my top 2. You guys may be too young for this, but GameCube is 1.
Oh, GameCube's fire.
PlayStation 4. Done. That's it.
What the heck, dude? What are you?
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. That's a W pick, AB. W pick.
What?
All I had was GameCube and
Even
PlayStation 4.
Even though I'm an Xbox guy
Oh
now,
my
from the ages
gosh.
8 to 11, I was a PS4 guy.
Yeah, PS4 is the way.
Dude, you uncultured swine.
Oh,
Get the hell out of here.
Lord.
Wait.
Okay, here we
You
go.
call me a slime?
First of all, I'm really insulted, that you said that the GameCube is something that people might be too young for. Like, wait till
Will,
you
I
hear
don't
what
even
I
know
have
what
to
that
say.
is.
Not you, Will. Not you, Will.
No. I
Yeah,
don't care. I don't care if Nada was on here. Okay, I do not consider the GameCube classic yet. All right.
You just don't want to be
Number-
considered old.
Number 1, the original PlayStation. Do not at me. The OG PlayStation. Johnny, only reason why I didn't even argue with you about the PS2 is because if it was backwards compatible, so you could play 1 and 2. However, I never had a PS2, so I'm going with the PS1.
Okay, that's valid, I guess.
My top. Well, I did have a PS2, but it was broke, so it never worked. Number 2, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, SNES.
That's valid. That is very valid. I remember the days in the mudroom at my mom's house in Bellevue.
Hey,
Yes.
what they know about the mudroom? We gotta educate them on the mudroom. Hey, I had a pro score on Wii Bowling. They do not want it in the mudroom.
JeCori, first off, all right. I want everybody that ever views this video to understand that I am a force to be reckoned with against JeCori in any video game ever to be created.
And I will second. I've seen it in the flesh. JeCori, you were taking L's like none other.
Dude, that dude took more L's than Chris Paul in the finals.
It looked like Will Smith against Chris Rock at the Oscars or Grammys or whatever it was.
Will, you're 40. Why are
Anyhow,
you still talking to me?
Anyhow, my last system, I'm going to have to go with the OG Xbox. I know because that's the first system. That's the first system that I bought with my own money was the OG Xbox, and I ended up buying
From a background perspective, Will is broke.
No comment.
Well, this has been a great podcast full of insults, talking about police and insulting them.
Whoa, what do you mean, Will? You're dressed like Miley Cyrus in the clutch right now.
Did you guys know the Great Wall of China took over 2,000 years to build?
Ni hao!
Not very deep or not a good source, but that's what I pulled up.
Hey, did you know that someone on this panel has been to the Great Wall of China in person?
Hey, B, was it you, man? Was you there?
My man is muted.
Guy.
I said, did you know that there's a lot of people that are buried in there? Did you know? Lots of
You know
people
those
died
are all
building there.
useless facts.
Did you know that that's a good fact, actually?
Hey, a lot of the Great Wall of China is actually like you're not even allowed to go to it because they're still trying to like repair parts of it. And a few years ago, some Americans did not listen and fell and got themselves killed.
Did you
And
know?
my God.
Did you know the last time I pooped was 4 hours ago?
Okay.
Congratulations.
JeCori, you're about to get...
It was me. I'm the one that's been to the Great Wall of China.
Oh, why didn't you say that, Will? We didn't even AB. You know? Hey, man.
I knew.
Oh, that's what we doing? It was a bit, dude. Like right over the beanie on your head, dude. I'm surprised it didn't fall off on the floor.
Nah. Listen, Will has traveled. You know, he's been to a lot of places. So,
Johnny, you're gonna bring us home, and then why don't you toss up a question for a poll for this week? Because we got to get some comment engagement on the video.
Okay, so
hold on, I thought I was the poll guy.
No, get out of here, dude. You're irrelevant. We'll take your bison.
You really, really screwed the pooch on this one. You didn't have your camera on the whole time. You
Hold up. Why does the camera matter if on the YouTube we're not going with cameras anymore, and if on Spotify and stuff I thought you just said. Hey, hold up. In the quote unquote meeting, we're only uploading the audio, correct?
No.
In the meeting that you didn't attend, right? That makes sense.
Yes, correct.
It's
the meeting that you set the phone down and I looked up at a clothes rack for about a half an hour before you said, I'm going to go. And that one? No. Johnny and I already discussed this.
Yeah, you guys didn't want to involve me though. That's
no,
cool. That's
you
cool.
were
It's
not paying attention.
Cool.
Hey,
is it because I'm white skinned?
Exactly why.
Exactly why. Thank you, Abdinoor.
There's
I
no
have
way
a cat on my lap.
All right. Anyways, I guess we're gonna wrap it up, guys. AB, appreciate you coming through. You got anything to plug for yourself? Okay, great. Glad you didn't have anything to say.
That's crazy.
But no, thank you guys for listening. AB, thanks for coming out and just sharing a little bit. I know we didn't get very, very deep into anything crazy. We didn't want to get too political, but it was nice just to kind of scratch the surface a little bit of kind of what's going on and a different view on life. I mean, the podcast is here to inform, and I think for anybody the next that goes to travel anywhere, I mean, take a look at those things and see if we're making sense with it. I mean, see if like what you're saying relates to other people in the world. I mean, maybe this could be a movement you could start or something. Also, if that is what's going to happen, I get 30% of all revenue in the company. The Little We Know gets 10%. Don't at me. I already copyrighted it. Anyways, so
that's crazy.
Guys, thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. I had a great time. Definitely, we'd love to come up another time again. But thank you again for having me.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, and guys, this is it for us, the Little We Know podcast.
Push those socials. Push those socials.
Oh, don't worry. I'm getting there, sweet cheeks. Anyways, make sure you follow us on socials. We got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. All right. We got all of it. Make sure you add us. They're the little we know, LLC or podcast. And just give us a like and subscribe, or don't. I mean, I'm not going to yell at you about it, but we'd appreciate it. And then last thing,
I will.
I want you all to email us or comment or like or something. Just send us in your favorite places to travel or places that you want to travel. Top 2. All right. So there's a little bit of variety. All right. I want top 2 places. And also, I love all you guys,
Yeah. Great.
I don't.
Much love. Much love. I will. We can start recording, right?
Hold on. Wait.
He's working on it, man. He's a little bit slower.
No. Let's do one more take. I'm going to cut a little bit before. Johnny, can you kind of do you have like a tagline or something like that? Like something to close us out with? Because I want to make sure that that's the last thing. And then I'm going to cut to the logo and then some background music. I should have asked you about that beforehand, but I'm just not thinking of it.
The little we know is what you need to know.
I like that. All right, so that's it for us, guys. This is the Little We Know podcast. Love y'all. Have a good day. I'm in here alone.
I can leave. All right, stop recording and then we should be all set.
Why do I gotta stop recording? I don't know how to do it.
Imagine if we didn't record at all. That would be crazy.
Oh no, it recorded. I seen it.
Okay. Good.
Oh yeah.
Remember, I was on my back. You was supposed to have my back, but you didn't. Yeah. Nah, it's all good. I'm pulling the bazaar out the pack. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Now you wanna come around, cause you see me back on track. Boy, you tripping. Yeah. Seen it coming from a mile. Out of Pete, all that. Yeah. All these flavors call me Dale Flay. Every time I get up out the bed, I think about getting paid. Hardly ever sleep. I've been chasing bread since 6 today. number, pressure in my lungs. Smoke a zip a day. They start to catch on to what we doing. Let me flip the play. Consistency's what got me here. I used to hit them licks and pray. Way down bad. I was just waiting on a different day. Don't need you in my pockets, but made enough to pay the rent today. Like Dale, you a rapper while your neck ain't refrigerated. I'm plotting on 60 acres with a pond, big crib gated. Can't take your advice on the game. You ain't ever played it. Act like you the man, but you not, cause you still ain't made it. Of course they know it's me when I'm there, cause they smell the fragrance. Rolling up a leaf with the wax, yeah, I got a lace. Yeah, I paid a little extra tax, cause I love the taste. Yeah, I paid that little extra tax, so I gotta face it.